Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today, it's a very special day, a very special day. The day before the first game of preseason, the first game of the Hansi Flick era, and of all teams to be playing, we are playing Manchester City. It is incredible. It is incredible. We are getting some of the best competition that we could face. Man City, Pep Guardiola, in what could potentially be his last match as City manager against Barcelona. If they don't draw each other in the Champions League. Pep said he's closer to leaving than staying, but that's a topic for another video and another channel. Now, this preview, I have broken down both of Man City's first two preseason games against Milan, against Celtic, so you don't have to. And I do have some very interesting findings. So, the best players that we have seen for Man City, surprisingly, the best attacking player is Oscar Bob. 1 goal and 3 assists in Man City's first 2 games, which, if you didn't know, 4-3 loss to Celtic and a 3-2 loss to Milan, who we are playing later in the pre-season tour. And it is a very interesting player to be the best attacker in Man City's pre-season. Their top scorer, though, not a surprise, Erling Haaland scored once in both games. So it's not a surprise that he is right there. So some themes that I noticed: Oscar Bob and Erling Haaland had an incredible link-up. Oscar Bob assisted Erling Haaland at least once in both games, and it has been electric, those two linking up. Now, I must say, before we go any further, these are just friendlies, and we are seeing a lot of players who wouldn't normally get game time getting game time. So this isn't going to be as good of a Bible as we will see for actual league matches and official matches going forward in the season, but just some observations from Man City's matches leading up to this one. And we have seen their defense failing to pick up players. Their defense has been pretty inexperienced. We have seen Rico Lewis, Mamadou Sissoko, Jamai Simpson-Poussey, Luke Mbete, Callum Doyle, and Josh Wilson-Esbrand in their defense. So their defense is very inexperienced, and we have seen them failing to pick up their markers, failing to pick up the correct players. So that is a very interesting thing there. They have been outpassed and outpossessioned in both games, which is very un-Man City-like. Even Celtic had more possession and completed more passes than Manchester City did in the game that they played, which I don't know what that means, because Man City would definitely not do that in an official match. Man City played Celtic in the Champions League, say. Man City are getting at least 70% possession, I'd say, maybe about 65, and they're getting about 700 passes to 250 for Celtic, which has been the same case for Barcelona in recent years. But it's a very interesting observation, and it might be an indicator of what's to come for the Barca game. We've also seen not many goals come from a long build-up. They've either been from a quick grab straight from the opposition in the final third, or it's been from a corner or another set piece. We haven't seen very Man City-like goals so far, but still, all of their goals have been assisted. They've all had players who've assisted their goals. So it's not been straight, get the ball back, shoot and score. There's been a few passes in there. And in every one of their games, they've also not been as aggressive as their opposition. They've fouled less, they have tackled less, and as you can see, they haven't defended as well. They've conceded 7 goals across those first 2 preseason matches. It's going to be very interesting to see how that goes against Barca. They also don't cross in for the header as much. They did have one headed goal, that was from Erling Haaland, but they still prefer to dribble it in from the flank, which is how you saw Man City's first goal against Milan. Oscar Bob dribbling it in from the right-hand side, cuts it back to Haaland, who scores. That is how they prefer to do their business. They don't cross it in, they dribble it in. So we'll get back to that later. They also prefer to start a build-up from the back rather than just straight clear it to the forwards, which is also another opportunity for Barcelona to get in there, to press them in their own final third. They also prefer to play down the flanks rather than the middle. They have been very unreliant on their players in the middle. Their right backs, their right wingers, right mids, wingers, right mids, left wingers, left mids, left backs, all of them, they have been the facilitators of the attacking play more often than not. They aren't a stranger to it by any stretch, a stranger to putting their attack down the middle by any stretch, but they do put it down the flanks most often. We've also seen that they can be led into offside positions with an offside trap more. Now, this isn't massive. This isn't going to change anything, I don't think, for Barcelona, because they already have seemed like they're going to be playing a high line, but we saw them be led into offside positions 4 times in that match against Celtic. So if you play a high line against them, then we probably will see them be led into offside positions more often than not. And we've also seen that 6 of their 7 goals conceded have came from within 12 yards. And more worrying for Man City, there's only been 1 shot from the middle of the box within 12 yards that has not gone in. There's only been about 7-8 shots that have been taken from right in the middle of the box, and 6 have gone in. Now, after taking a look at the starting 11s, this is what I think that we could see the Man City 11 look like tomorrow. Ederson in goal, an inexperienced back line, Rico Lewis, Mbete, Simpson Poussey, Susoho, Calvin Phillips, and O'Reilly as our defensive midfielders, Jack Grealish, James McAtee, Oscar Bob there with Erling Haaland. I'd say that front 4 there, the attacking mids, wide mids and striker, that's pretty set. They've started all 4 of those in both of those players in those positions every single game so far. However, the defensive 6 is more of a scramble because they have been playing different players in there, and we could see completely different players that I didn't even consider starting there. So that's a pretty big gamble, but even more of a gamble is what I predicted the Barca 11 to be tomorrow night. I am saying that we will have Ter Stegen in goal. That's pretty set. But the back line is going to be very interesting to look at. See Alex Valle, Inigo Martinez, Mikhail Faye, Jules Koundé in there. Jules Koundé still playing as right back, despite the absence of Araujo, and Christensen playing further up, as we're going to see. But I think Koundé's going to be the right back for Barcelona this season. I don't see us getting Cancelo, sadly. And I think that Flick is going to want to play him there. Now, we see Alex Valle and Mikhail Faye, who've both not made their first team debuts. Last year, Valle was getting game time at Levante. Faye was getting time for the B team, but Faye was getting very close to the first team by the end of the season. And Valle was a very regular contributor at Levante. We also don't have a proper left winger, which is why I think Balde will push up, and we will be seeing Valle take his place at left back. Then we will also be seeing the DMs being Bernal and Andreas Christensen now. Mark Bernal, he's a very interesting player. I've talked about him before. I think he's going to break out this season, and he's one of the players to watch in this preseason, and just one of the youngsters overall to watch to see who's going to make their next first team appearance. Now, the three attacking midfielders, you could constitute one of them defender, as a defender, one of them midfielder, one of them's an attacker. Balde playing much higher than he's used to, but I believe he is capable of playing in that attacking left mid spot. Maybe just supporting. I'm going to be talking about that later. I don't think we're going to be as reliant on him for the attack, just as a supportive player. But he's going to be interesting to see. I hope that we can see him at that spot, and especially because Barcelona don't really have a proper left winger going into this preseason tour. I think Balde's the closest player that they've got. So look at Gundogan. I believe he is the best player suited for that attacking midfield spot. Not much explanation needed there. The Barca don't really have too many other big players. There's no Pedri, there's no De Jong on this preseason tour. And we also see Rafinha on the right-hand side. And I believe that our attack will be running mainly through him for reasons I will explain in just a second. With, again, not much of an explanation needed. Lewandowski up top. Barcelona could be playing a completely different 11 to this. But I believe that this is the best chance of what they could be playing. Alright, we will have to see after a couple of preseason games what Hansi Flick's going to want to do. But if you notice, both starting 11s are 4-2-3-1 formations, which I believe is going to be what they're going to be running. Man City have ran a 4-2-3-1 in both preseason games so far, and it looks like Hansi Flick is going to be running a 4-2-3-1 for Barcelona in the future. He ran a 4-2-3-1 in the preseason behind closed doors friendly against Olats, and I think this is going to be the formation that he uses most often here. Now on to my keys of the game for Barcelona, and I have 9 things to talk about here. The first thing that I want to talk about, lock down Oscar Bob. You will have to make sure that Oscar Bob doesn't get any side of the ball. Whoever plays left back, and in this case, it's probably going to be Alex Balde from what I've said, or it could be Alex Balde, who knows. Whoever plays there is going to have to lock him down. Oscar Bob has been the player through whom the entire City attack has been run around this entire preseason so far. So I believe that whoever plays left back is going to have to just look after Oscar Bob the entire game. They are going to have to man-mark him no matter what our other defenders are doing. Next up, I believe that we should overload the right-hand side, as Man City have been more prone to conceding their goals from the right-hand side. Been 3 goals conceded from the right, 3 goals from the middle, 1 in a mixed opportunity, and yeah, even the ones in the middle have been more on the right-hand side of the middle. So, Man City haven't conceded a single goal from the left-hand side, and with my predicted starting 11 seeing Balde there, I don't believe that will change after the Barcelona game. We will have to run our attack through Rafinha, who we have seen in the past is definitely capable of doing that. He just has to be more consistent to his form against PSG. I believe that Rafinha's hands are capable of running the attack. We aren't going to be seeing him on this preseason tour. We aren't going to be seeing Nico Williams, at least for this game. So Rafinha is going to have to bear the load of the attack. And I think we're going to have to run it through him. We could go through Gundogan a little bit. We could go through Balde a little bit, but mainly we're going to have to run our attack through Rafinha. Next, I think we should be playing a wider defensive line. What do I mean by that? I think that our fullbacks need to be very wide. Our center backs need to be a little wider than they were as well. Because Man City, they play a lot through the wings. They have played most of their attacks have been played off the flanks rather than the middle, and putting our defenders on the wide side will be key to stopping them, rather than just having everyone camping out in the box, in the middle. I think we should be playing a wider defense. Next up, we need to be playing aggressive. That is one of the things that Hansi Flick has stressed a lot for his Barcelona team and players in their training sessions prior to preseason. Hansi Flick has had about a month, maybe around 2 months for some players to instill that in them. And I think that this aggression, they can out-aggression Man City. Man City is not an aggressive team. As I said, they have been out-fouled and out-tackled in both of their games. But Barcelona can get to the loose balls, can press them a long way. And yeah, I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later. We also need to be playing fullbacks who are confident in 1v1 situations. Man City are known in these last 2 games. They have been known to put the ball into, rather than cross the ball into the box, they have been looking to dribble the ball into the box from the flanks. So we need to be playing fullbacks who are confident in those areas, rather than just trying to close out the winger and prevent him from putting a cross in. That is another thing to consider for Hansi Flick when he is thinking of putting in a left back to stop Alex Valle or stop Oscar Bob. It's going to be a crucial decision for Hansi Flick who he puts in at left back to start the game. As I said, Oscar Bob, he has been such a menace, and if we've seen that and we've still let him have his way, that is on us. Next, we have to press them the whole way down the field, even in the 18-yard box, because they prefer to start a build-up rather than clearing it. And with their unexperienced defenders, pressure could be all that they need to give it away and give Barcelona a very good opportunity in and around the 18-yard box. Just a couple passes and we're in. We also need to be playing zonal, because Man City are still Man City, and they're still going to be looking to pass the ball a heck of a lot. We're going to need to intercept short passes. They don't play a lot of long balls. They try to build up. And even though Man City have been very un-Man City-ish, they are still going to be passing it quite a bit. And rather than man marking, we're going to have to look to play our players more zonal and more effectively to intercept. Our players are going to have to be smart out there. They're going to have to notice the passing lanes that Man City are using, the side-to-side, side passing, the common lanes that they're using. They're going to have to be noticing everything that's going on there and adapting accordingly. Next, we're going to have to seek to control the game. Milan and Celtic, more often than not, were in control in those 2 games, and they ended up beating Man City. Now, we are going to have to control this game as well. We're going to have to be passing quite a bit. We're going to have to be keeping the ball. We're going to be having to keep Man City on the back foot. Their defenders, as I said, time and again, they are unexperienced. They will not know how to react to us. And that just gives us more of an advantage. And, of course, the age-old adage, they cannot score if we have the ball. The last key of the game is that we can't shoot on sight. We can't shoot straight away the first time we have an opportunity. We need to look to get into the middle of the box and take a shot there. Man City's shot stopping outside of the box has been pretty good and around the top of the box. But when it comes to shots taken at the same distance away as the penalty spot or nearer, they have been awful. As I've said, about 7 or 8 shots they've faced and 6 have gone in. those are the keys to the game for Barcelona. That is the overall preview to this one. I'm not going to be able to watch the game due to commitments with my rep team, as I said, so the reaction, tactical analyses won't be as good, but I will try. For now, though, I will see you later, and see you after the game for the tactical analysis.